Okay, the next technique is the controversial, I can't say that word, controversial gogoplata, okay? The gogoplata, it's not for everybody. It's definitely a flexible guy's move. So let's look at it here, okay? Let's start in the closed guard. Okay. So basically you need to make this happen right there. All right. Now I just did it all nice and easy and daisy. That was nice. Pete let me have it, but it's not always going to work that way. Okay. A lot of times the way I get the gogoplata, right, is I start with an angle here and I start coming up here. Now I'll force this over his head and try to make sure I get under his chin there. Okay. Now both my hands get up and grab his neck and start cranking on it right there. Okay. I've actually done this from the mount. Let me mount you. I've actually done this from the mount more than I've done it from closed guard. Okay. It's where I have mount position, right? And I go, keep your arms in, and I go, slide this through here and gather up his arm and step up. And then I'll take this bad boy and I'll put it right under his chin there. And then I press on my own foot and I get it. Okay. I love this technique. I've actually tried to double gogoplata people before and lost matches because of it. I should have just stuck with that single gogoplata. But I drive through. I load this up, right? And then I start going, bend your arm down, bend your arm down. Great, because now I can go boom, right onto his neck there. And he's tapping. Now I can even push my own foot. Or I can bring him on top of me and finish right here, grab my own foot, and get that tap. Okay. Now, do a light double leg on me. Stand up on your feet. Shoot a double leg on me and take me down. You go down, lace it over, get it up under his chin, grab your foot, and start cranking. Okay? This is one of my favorite ways, is when I'm actually losing the double leg. Stand up again, and he shoots on me. And they shoot. And I'm like, oh no, I'm going down. I'm going down. I lace it over, get it up under his chin, grab my own foot there, and start cranking. Right? You can be like in the omoplata, in a normal omoplata here. You can be in a normal omoplata. Take an angle and try to catch the gogoplata right here. You see that? How my foot gets up under his neck there, and I start pulling on the head. You can even like lock it like this and crank on it right there. Okay? So, thank you, Pete. Hope you enjoyed the gogoplata. Okay, the 7-year-old choke is a choke that I learned when I was a teacher, and I used to teach a kids class. And Pete, could you just sit on your butt? And when I was teaching the kids class, I was sitting like Pete is now, instructing 2 kids right here, telling them to do this or do that. And a kid from behind, who I wasn't watching, one of the kids' class, he rolled up from behind me. He jumped. Now, I won't do it to Pete because I'm a grown man, but this was a little like 7-year-old kid. He jumped on my shoulders like this, okay? My feet are touching the ground, but his little feet were dangling because he was all little. And he locked his hands under my head, my chin like this, and started cranking on me like this. And I've never seen this before. At the time, I had never seen this. And he's cranking, and I'm starting to go, oh man, this is starting to actually choke me. Holy crap, this is a great technique. So I reach up and I tap the little kid, and I'm like, all right, buddy, you got it. And I tap, and he's still going just like, Gah! And I tap again, I'm like, all right, buddy, you got it. And he doesn't even know, I forgot to teach him what tap out means. So he's cranking, and everything in me was like, okay, I'm in Pete's position. I was like, am I gonna reach up and grab my knees and grab my knees with your hand and pull me forward? And then the kid's face would hit the ground. I thought about doing that to him, but I didn't want to hurt him. So what happened was I laid to the side here. I laid to the side, the little kid's still cranking on this choke, and I reached up with one of my hands and I grabbed my index finger and bend the index finger back. The thumb or whatever. I actually grabbed grabbed my middle finger and bend it back, and it let go, and he was like, ah! And he let go, and I got out. But the lesson was learned. Sit up again, Pete. The lesson was learned. I had to cheat to get this little kid to stop choking me. right? I had to cheat and grab his little index finger. Every method of getting out didn't work. And to me, that was pretty significant. And I was like, whoa, if a little 7-year-old kid can do that to me, what if I did this to another adult? Okay, so the idea is when a little kid is on your back, okay, and you're telling them rear naked choke. See, for me, a rear naked choke goes in place pretty easy, okay? But for a kid, their little arms don't do that. Their little arms go to about here, okay? And they can't get the rear naked choke all the way in, and it's really awkward for them, okay? The smarter kids will make an adjustment and do this. They go hand to hand, back up, extend the arms straight, and lock it under the chin here, okay? Now this here alone can tap him. I find it works much better if I get my legs up onto his shoulders though, okay? And now I scoot and take out all the space, and I have him here in this position. Now to finish it even more, move this hand, is I lock a triangle right here. Locking the triangle is pushing my right calf against my right hand against Pete's neck. So I'm squeezing with the most powerful part of my body by squeezing inwards like that up on his neck. Okay? Sit up, Pete. So I call it the 7-year-old choke because the little kid that did it to me was 7 years old. So basically, kids cannot do a rear naked choke like this. A little 7-year-old kid tries to do this to an adult and they only get so far. They get to about here. The smart kids will start to go here. Okay? And if I press Pete's head against my hip here, that's a pretty easy choke to do. Okay? It's not that hard to get that, to make them tap. So how do I take this and apply it in actual jiu-jitsu matches, okay? It's whenever I have a situation where I'm attacking a bow and arrow on Pete, and his hands double up on my hand that's doing the bow and arrow. I release underneath the arm, I allow him to pull my hand down to the center of his chest, and I relock hands right there in the center of his chest. Now my arms are long and extended. They're not bent anymore. My arms are long and extended. This is where I'm gonna arch back, and it makes the connection on Pete's neck. Move your left arm. Now I'm gonna go leg over the shoulder, leg over the shoulder. And I scoot, and I scoot, and I scoot. And now here we are. My hands are under his chin. My hips are behind the back of his head. And the pull and the push work together. If I can, I'll lock a triangle here. And I don't know if you can see, but it takes my calf, my left calf, pushes it against my hand. When I lock this, it starts to compress on the throat, and you get a tap. Okay? So there's lots of variations. For me, the best one to do is have your partner's back, get him in the seatbelt position here, scoot with me. Get him in a seatbelt position, take the bottom arm, the arm that's under it, and throw it over the top, and start to go 1, 2, and let him drop into your hips here. Now, Pete, try to turn left or right. Why can't he? Because my legs are over his arms, right? My legs are over his arms like a 7-year-old sitting on your shoulders at Disneyland, okay? If I can lock this like a triangle, they tap. Okay, so now, other variations that I know. If you go on all fours, Pete, I've done this before where I have the guy and turn your face to the camera. Yeah, well, I'll have the guy here and then go down on all fours. I'm gonna be here, okay? And what I've done is lock right here and step over them here and start cranking right there. I know it looks crazy and it looks catch wrestler-ish. It looks like a pro wrestling move. But hey, I'm not full of crap, okay? I've actually done this to some really good guys. Okay, so I'll be here, and I let go of my over-under. I lock both hands over his shoulder here. Okay, now it's like up, step right here, and start cranking. I'll even like roll and bring him here, and now lock the triangle and get the tap there. Okay, so the 7-year-old choke, one of my favorites. I'm pretty sure I'm like the only person in the world who does this. So I hope you can take it and add it to your game and get some submissions with it. Thank you, Pete. Let's talk about the rear naked choke or the RNC. Okay, so Pete, actually have a seat on your butt.
On my knees?
No, on your butt. Sit, yeah. So with the rear naked choke, you know, pretty basic idea. One of the first things I learned was, you know, get him in between your elbows, right? Not in between your wrists. Get him in between your elbows, and then it goes boom, boom. That's how I used to learn the rear naked choke. That's one of the ways I was taught. Then the issue becomes when I go boom, his double up on that, and now I can't get this back, right? So hold it again. So instead of trying to go like, as you go, retract it back, and then slip it in like this, okay? One of the methods I learned from my old coach, Mark Lehman, was you go palm to palm, you load it up into place, you extend your claws, and then the snake slips into place. The hand is nice and tight on the bicep, the back of the hand is on the back of his head, my chin traps the rest, and I squeeze until they tap. Okay? That took me a minute to learn, dude. Mark Lehman was teaching that to all his guys, and I came around and I was like, where's that? Oh, I know how that works. So it goes like seatbelt grip, right? Cover the choking arm. You come up, you release. We go palm to palm, extend the claws, slip it into place. Okay, or you can go both hands, lock hand over here, load this guy up into place, extend the claws, throw the choke in. Okay, so you can go palm to palm, load it up high, the arm that's around the neck, the fingers extend. Because now the arm that's holding that slips into place, hand snug on your bicep, back of the hand on the back of the head, nice and tight, squeeze till they tap. Okay? So that's your rear naked choke. I think a mistake a lot of people make is they're not always behind the guy when they try to rear naked choke. I used to do this too when I was a white and blue belt. I would have a bit of an angle and I would be like, oh, rear naked choke. And it's just not right, you guys. It's just not right. It's going to hurt him, but it's not going to tap him. It doesn't tap him until you get like right there. Okay? So, you know, you white and blue and you younger grapplers, you want to learn, don't be so eager to squeeze a rear naked choke that isn't perfect. It might wrap around. It might be all settled in. You'd be like, oh, shit, that's a rear naked choke. But your positioning is off. Okay, this is just gonna crank his neck and exhaust your grip, and then you're gonna let go and be tired. Okay, I don't squeeze rear naked chokes unless they're perfect and I'm perfectly behind him. Load it up, extend my claws, slip it into place, cover the rest with my head, squeeze until they tap. Okay, now let's look at a setup here. Pete, lay on your back when you have you in side mount. Okay, so what I do is I go for this, Pete, what do you call this when you get an arm and a cross face combined? What do you call this?
I just wrap them up. I don't have an exact name for it.
Okay, so we get this position, all right? What I'm gonna do, my left arm is gonna become the rear naked choke here in a second. Okay, I step up. I drive this knee down. Now my left arm, pull till we're here. Now do you see my left arm wrapped completely around his neck, under the chin? Okay, now I go palm to palm, slip it in, squeeze till they tap. Okay, let's look at that again from a different angle. Okay, down here, Pete. So I'll go, let me turn you right there. So I'll go gather the arm, scoop the head, step over, drive my knee down, and I start my right hand, is already grabbed the back of Pete's neck, like I'm engaged with my fingers, to pull till he's over here on this side. One more little butt scoot, and here we are. Okay, and now my arm's all the way under his neck, under the chin, and then I go. See, the problem with grabbing my bicep right here is he'll grab my hand, right? So what I do is instead I go hand to hand right here. I'll squeeze. If that doesn't work, then I go rear naked choke. Okay. And do that again. So if I'm here, right, is I'll trap his arm like so, and a cross face. Okay. Now I step over. I drive my knee down and I bring Pete all the way across here, right into my rear naked choke. It's one of my favorite ways to set up the RNC. Okay. Remember the rear naked choke. We don't want to be, we don't want to be on the side of the guy, right? And even here, it's going to be hard to rear naked choke Pete because look at me getting up on my toes right now, right? It's too high for me. What you'll want to do is like drop them down. Let's say I kick you and you fall back. Now I can rear naked choke him, right? Or get back up. The other option, if you're here and you can't get that rear naked, is jump on the dude. Now you're in the level to make it work. You have to be at the right distance, If you're too low, not gonna work. Sit down on your butt. If you're too high, not gonna work. This isn't gonna work, I'm too high. I gotta get right to that perfect spot, right behind him, all right? Boom, boom. Here's another really cool way to do rear naked choke, is use your underarm to control his cross wrist. Give me that wrist. Okay, and now fall on top of it. Okay, because this grip allows me to hook his arm. Okay, now I eliminate that guy. Okay, I can even cross my feet right now. Now, I'm gonna choke him with my top arm. He's gonna use this hand to try to fight it. And I go bar arm, eliminate, and then I start working my way through here. And I don't even have to lock the rear naked choke all the way. I can just press my arm onto his bicep, onto his shoulder here, and start cranking on that Adam's apple. Okay, so I get a grip under his arm. I go to a cross wrist control. Give me a wrist. I go to a cross wrist control, and then I fall on top of it. Now I can use this to hook here, eliminate his defensive arm there, and start attacking the neck. Put your chin down. And I start going in here, get across, get onto here. You can just start squeezing here. If this hand comes up to fight with me, grab the hand. I eliminate that guy. And now I can rear naked choke him without even locking. Okay? So, the RNC, the rear naked choke. Have fun with it, boys and girls. All right, let's look at a cool crucifix choke here. All right, Pete, go ahead and lay on your side. So what I'm looking for in this situation is when I have a side mount and the guy sits up onto this forearm. They do that, okay? When that happens, I'm looking for that right there. Boom. Okay, because now I'm gonna start getting onto this choke here, okay? And start cranking until they tap. I might even pull them with me. I might even start pulling them on top of me here and start cranking this way. And I can even, if I can get my leg over his head, that's really gonna mess him up, okay? So let's say, however you end up in the crucifix, the setup right now is if you have side mount and you see them sit up like that, that's where you wanna go. Boom, and catch that right there. And now I catch right here. And then I start passing this lapel under Pete's chin. I can go to that secondary lapel, crank. I can go crank. Or I can get my leg over his head, crank. However you set up the crucifix, it doesn't really matter. Let's say Pete is on all fours. He's in all fours position, right? Elbows down. And I'll do like a gather up his arm. You know what I'm saying? I'll roll him here. Boom. And then I start to work this lapel. And I'll go across and take that secondary and I crank. Or if I can go, boom. But Pete still like bridge up on top of me a little bit. Yeah, now I can get behind his head. And I can even get this leg over. If he's low, go low. Good. That's harder to do, isn't it? Right? That's why I would just go to this secondary lapel here and just start cranking right there. All right? It's also a good place to do a guillotine, believe it or not. I can switch here and turn this into a guillotine choke. Okay, let's do that again. Side control. And the guy turns and sits up onto his forearm right there. That's where I want to go. Boom, catch that arm. Catch this arm. Start getting up into the lapel. Look at, boom. Can I throw my leg over? Boom. Can I go secondary lapel? Boom. Okay. Maybe I'll take the crucifix like this, watch. Maybe I'll go here. I'll gather up this arm, right? I'll gather up this arm and switch it to this leg. So now I can roll that way. Okay? And then again, start getting on that choke. Get into that cross collar. Start cranking. If you can't find anything with this secondary hand, just keep holding here. Right? But I would generally try to find something here for that secondary hand. And then start cranking. If this isn't working, let go. Go like this. Go from here to here. Retract your right arm. Sit up. The guillotine becomes available right there. Okay? So anytime you have a crucifix, you should be looking for that choke. Let's say turtle up again. Let's say he's turtled. Right? Go up onto turtle. Right there, look at, catch that arm. And then start cranking on this choke. You can even,
Right.
bow and arrow variation. Alright. I'll do it like this, like lay on your back. Put your guard in front of me. As I'll go double unders, and I lift the dude, and I put him right here. Okay? Because now I can lay down and catch his arm right here. Let me do that again. Actually, I want to get him here. Okay, now lean that way. Great. Boom. And then I can start cranking on this. Okay? So if he's here, maybe I'll even go like this. Watch, I'll go like. It's also a good place to just try a rear naked strangle here. Just do a crank on him right there. Right? I might even go like 7-year-old. Okay. So, have fun with that choke. Thank you, Pete. All right, this next choke is forearm right on his throat. Okay, Pete, go ahead and lay down. So what I'm looking to do is use my windshield wiper stapler gun to control that arm, my underhook to control this arm. Okay, let me rotate you like this. One more. Right there, yeah. Okay, so I've got control of him like this. I rest my head on my hand. Okay, I have a stapler gun control, windshield wiper stapler over his arm here. Okay, now again, Pete cannot touch his face right now. If his hands try to come touch his face, it's a bit of a reach. He has to fight for it. That's not a good thing for Pete. I can punch him. Okay, jiu-jitsu, I can do a choke now. So here's the choke I want to do. I want to press my forearm on his throat until he taps. You see, the first thing Pete did was brought his chest and his chin together, right? Do that again. Bring your chest and your chin. Now I can't get under his chin. Okay, I can't get under his chin. So what I do is I use the back of my hand here, the top side of my hand there on his cheek, and I push him that way. Okay, I want to push Pete away from me. Now I swivel, and you get right in there on that Adam's apple, and you press and you get the tap. Okay? If at any time, turn your chin this way, Pete. See, this right here won't choke him because he's turning away from him. He's turning away, so I'm only pressing on one of his arteries. It's if Pete was looking straight up, and let me get under your chin, that'll get you right there. So they realized that. They took the chin in, and they turned this way. Okay, so now it does nothing. That's why I got to use the back of my hand, right? The back of my hand on Pete's cheek to push until his head goes over there. So we're taking Pete from looking this way, back of my hand, push. You got to be strong about that part because some dude's neck will be very strong, right? You'll be pushing him like, oh man, I got to put some power into it. And you put some power into it. Now I swivel. I get in there. I grab the shoulder. I can grab the gi if I want. Press down. If his chin turns in again, turn your chin, just your chin. Great. I got to let go. Push the chin back across all the way until he's looking that way. Now I can swivel in and I'm right on that forearm. Forearm on his throat. And that's an easy tap right there. Okay. Again, if he's looking this way and I put this on him, don't tap. That's not supposed to tap you. Is that actually choking you or are you just tapping because you're tired?
Injured there.
You're just tired. Okay, that's not actually choking him. If he was looking this way, and this was all the way under, drive your shoulder down. Give me a little space here, buddy. Okay, look it. You see what I'm saying? See how he turns in? You see, that's what they do. You see that? When I start doing this, do what you just did. Turn in again. Great, that's where I gotta go back of my hand, push him across, and now swivel it in, and then I can tap him. Look at that reaction again. It's not just he turns, his whole body turns. They turn in, do it again. Like that. Okay? Now I gotta use the top part of my hand to push against his cheek and drive. Swivel, and start cranking. Did you see Pete try to escape his arm here? That's because I wasn't putting any pressure on it. In real life, it would be like this. So now if you try to pull your arm out, go ahead. He can't. But just for demonstration purposes, I wasn't putting weight on it. Okay? So in a real match, I would be putting weight on that. So now I would get here, he would turn in like he's doing. That's where I go swivel, drop it in, press and get the tap. If at any time he tries to bring this arm over my face, they walk right into Americana. And that's pretty easy to crank right there. Okay, that's what's cool about this move is it's a double attack. If I go for the chin, he doesn't like it, he tries to bring his arm over my head, Americana right here. Elbow down, crank, 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 boom. Okay, so from this spot, forearm on the neck, back of the hand on the cheek, push him away, spin it under and in, drive, 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 and you'll get the tap. One of my favorite chokes to do. Nobody likes this, especially when you start pushing your hand on their cheek and you start mushing their gums against their teeth right there. They're gonna probably hate you afterwards. So, thank you, Pete. Good job. You can sit up now. That's the forearm smasher. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Hit me up, Glover.
What you got, Nutsos?
See what you got. Young.
Della Glover. Del Glover.
Oh no. What am I gonna do here? I'm gonna go for the
Pete, I like wrist locks.
Hi, Glover. I do nothing but donkey
I
guards.
just did wrist locks.
I just donkey
My
guard.
back hurts. I'm Pete.
I'm Glover.
Oh.
I'm mad.
I only do wrist locks. What else you got? Do something besides wrist. Oh, knee on throat? That's inappropriate. Alright, that's a wrap. Let's get out of here.